This is a video I've been wanting to make for a pretty long time. It's you guys should see the title and the thumbnail. 3 teams that I wish would do something. And no point in wasting time. Let's get right into it. First of all, I think I'm gonna start with the Bulls, the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls last year were middle of the pack, exactly middle of the pack. I mean, they were actually technically a little below because they were the 10 seed. They were the 10 seed, and then they won the play in the first game, but then lost the second game, and ended up out of the playoffs. And this is a team with 2 potential All-Stars in Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball, who, when he's there, they do really good. But he's been injured for who knows how long, like 2 years, about to be 2 years now. So that's a rough situation there. And then you got Vucevic there, he's not as good as he used to be, but he's still a good center. A good center. Not a great center, but a good center. And then you got all the rest of the team. And this offseason, the Bulls, because you got Patrick Williams, of course, they got like a solid starting lineup. There's probably going to be something like Caruso, LaVine, DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Vucevic. And they also, it's just, in the offseason with the moves they made, they just got a really small team. And I don't see how it's going to work. It just doesn't really make sense to me. Because they got Javon Carter. They got, who else do they got on their team? Kobe White. They got Ayo Dosunmu, who they re-signed. Like, they got a bunch of guards over there, and they still got Lonzo, who's injured, but still is eventually going to come back. So I'm wondering, what's really the plan over there? Are they just going to run a super small ball lineup? How are all these guards going to fit in the rotation to get minutes? So that's a huge question, in my opinion. And I mean, they have other guys in the roster who could play other positions. It's just they really stocked up on the point guard position, and it doesn't make much sense to me because with the team you have right now, me personally, if I was them, I would definitely trade the stars and go for a somewhat tank or retooling. Because with the team right now, they were the 1 seed for some time in like 2021, but then they fell off. They got swept in the first round. Or what? I don't know if they were swept or beaten in 5. I can't remember. But they got beaten in the first round. And they are now, they've now either been disappointed. Have they missed the playoffs twice in a row? No. Okay, I'm tripping. I'm mixing up the years. They were the 1 seed last year. And then they missed the playoffs this year. So it's just kind of going on a downhill trend, especially with Lonzo gone and not many other bright spots in the team. I mean, if Patrick Williams has a jump, maybe that could do something for the team, but really it's not looking good for the Bulls right now. It doesn't really look that great. But I mean, anything is possible. It's just this team seems like a team that if they're good, they do good and they make the playoffs. But chances are they're, with all the other teams in the East right now, with all the rising teams, young stars and stuff, it doesn't look like they're going to be that good. So I'm wishing the Bulls would do something. Make a trade. At least make a trade. Either make the team better. I don't know what that trade is right now, but some trade to make the team better. Or just to retool. Because right now, it is not working, man. It ain't working. And my second team that I have to talk about is the Toronto Raptors. My own team, the Toronto Raptors. It has been a somewhat confusing offseason for us. I mean, first of all, in the draft, we got the 13th pick, and I wanted them to get Keontae George, who was a guard and a 3-point shooter, and this team heavily needs guards and 3-point shooters, as I saw from last season. But instead, they chose to go a different direction and select Grady Dick. So, Grady, I'll just say Grady for the video. Grady's great. He's a great player, and I thought he would fit best on a championship contending team, like the Dallas Mavericks or the Golden State Warriors, a team where you have guys who can play, who can handle the ball most of the time, and Grady could get those off-ball opportunities. But instead, he came to the Raptors, and I mean, the Raptors, you got Siakam, you got Scotty, who are going to be handling the ball. So I guess it makes sense from that point of view, where you can get Scotty and Siakam another scoring option to have on the three-point line. It adds more spacing to the team as well. So I guess if you just look at it that way, that makes sense. But Grady's like 6'8". And for the past few years, the Raptors have had this thing, which is getting a bunch of 6'8", 6'9", 6'7" players and just adding them to the team and running a lineup of just 6'8", 6'9". And I mean, it technically worked in 2022 when they made the playoffs with Scotty. They had a lineup. I remember Van Vliet got injured. So they had a lineup of Scotty, Gary, OG, Siakam, and I forgot who the last guy was. Achua, Precious. And that lineup did work. It's just, it's not very consistent because then you need shooters if you're going to have a lineup like that. And I mean, Grady is a shooter. It's just, you also need a shot creator. And Gary Trent can create shots. Fred VanVleet was able to create shots. But you need more than just one guy in the rotation who can create shots. You need more than that. That's what I was really wanting with Keontae George, however you want to say it. I really wanted them to add the guy, to add him because he's a good shot creator. And he could add some shooting, he could add some shot creation, he could take some pressure off the other guys. And I get the point. I get what they were trying to do by getting Grady and then keeping if they want to keep Siakam and Scotty as two main ball handlers, then Grady could be a good option for them to pass to, like I said before. But it still doesn't make sense to me because this team needs point guard play. And we, especially losing Fred VanVleet, who was a borderline all-star for some time. He was an all-star like 2 years ago, and he was a borderline for like the past 2 years. Or at least like, he was like just below all-star caliber player. And when you lose a guy like that, you need to replace him with somebody good if you want your team to be good. And you replace him with Dennis Schroeder. So I don't know really what the Raptors' direction is right now. It's very confusing, very interesting. They also signed Garrett Temple, apparently. It doesn't make sense to me. It's interesting. I really wish they would have got more guards. Because right now, if you look at the point guards for the Raptors, unless they're planning to run Scotty at point guard, which I really don't hate. I mean, Scotty isn't... We saw his playmaking last year because his scoring took a little bit of a dip because he was playmaking more, and that's completely fine. But it's just the point guard. If you look at the guards on the team right now, you have Dennis Schroeder, you have Malachi Flynn, you have the rookie that they just drafted, Marquise Noel. He said he was gonna retire as the best Raptor in history. So hey, if he lives up to the hype or his own self-made hype, hey, I'll take it. But you never know. You never know. And then you have for the shooting guard position, you have Trent, you have Grady, you have OG who could possibly play some minutes at the 2, but really is more of a 3. And then you have it's a tall team, and I mean tall teams can work. Especially in today's NBA where tall teams, you want length and you want size a lot. But it's just, I'm not so sure about it because, I don't know, man. It's just the last year I saw the point guard play, VanVleet was there, but when VanVleet was injured, because he got injured a bit last season, it was kind of rough for the point guard position for the Raptors because you had Malachi Flynn, but Malachi Flynn was inconsistent. So it left you running Siakam or Scotty at point guard some nights. And I mean, Siakam and Scotty are great ball handlers, great facilitators, but they're not point guards, like pure point guards. And that's what I wanted them to get this offseason, but they didn't really get that. And they lost VanVleet, which makes it even worse. So unless Scotty has a big jump and moves to the point guard position, I don't really get the direction right now. And of course, you also have Siakam. He's been in trade talks for a long time. So if the Raptors did do anything, I would want them to trade Siakam somewhere. I don't care where, just somewhere. Just trade him. Honestly, trade him to the Hawks. Get back Kobe Buffkin. I would absolutely love that deal. But I don't know if they're gonna do that. So if Siakam's been in trade talks for like the past month or so. So if they actually got a deal, then I would be happy because we already let Van Vliet go. Letting Siakam go would be great. And then OG is another guy who we could possibly trade, especially since he upped his value last year. And lots of people see him as a top 10 small forward right now. So I think OG could definitely be a significant trade piece. But the Raptors have come out and said that they want OG to be a bigger piece in the offense. So I don't think that's going to happen. And it's fine because OG is a good player. I want to keep him on the team. He's a great 3-and-D guy. But at the same time, if we could trade him somewhere and get some young pieces and picks back, that would be great too. And yeah, so that's the Raptors. Last team, y'all should see is coming. It's either going to be one of two teams because two players specifically are getting showcased the most right now in trade talks. But I'm going to talk about the Blazers. Damian Lillard. Please, Portland. This is the most urgent one. Because if the Raptors and the Bulls didn't do anything until the season started, I wouldn't be surprised. Blazers, Portland, please do something. Please, I'm begging you. Don't start the season with Damian Lillard. Please, don't start the season with Damian Lillard. Dame is great. He's a great player. And he requested a trade. And he said he wanted to go to the Heat. And I already talked a lot about the player empowerment and all that stuff and choosing where you want to go in my last video. If you want to hear about that, go check that out. But Damian Lillard has still not been traded. It's been about 2 months since he requested his trade. And he's just sitting there. Because on this team, when you look at the guards, the absolute, oh my goodness. You have Dame, of course. You have the third overall pick you just drafted, Scoot Henderson. You have Anthony Simons, your young rising star who you already had, who was cooking last season. You have Shaedon Sharpe, the rookie you had from last season, who's going into a sophomore year. And, I mean, you have other guys on the team, but really those four are the main pieces. And it's a very confusing direction right now for the Blazers. Because if they don't trade him, what are they going to do? What are they going to do, man? Because Scoot deserves to start. He was a third pick. All these top 3 picks. Brandon Miller deserves to start on the Hornets. Victor, of course, is definitely starting for the Spurs. And Scoot deserves to start for the Blazers. Scoot, so this is the lineup I had them potentially running. Assume they just traded Dame. I wasn't worried about what they got back, but it would be Scoot, Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, Jeremy Grant, Nurkic. Because especially with the 2 bigs, it's really like Jeremy Grant, you paid him that much money, you're not gonna bench him. And Nurkic, he's just there. He's the best center on the team, so just put him in the starting lineup. So Scoot, but yeah, Scoot is the main guy. And it's like, would you want to have him off the bench or would that stunt his development? Because, of course, having Scoot work under Dame would be great for mentorship stuff. But Dame has already said he wants to leave. He wants to go and win championships on another team. But in a situation now where Dame stays in the team, after all these players are hearing about everything that's going on with Scoot these players on the team already are hearing about Dame's trade request and how he doesn't even want to be there anymore. How will that affect the team chemistry with Dame? Because a lot of these players haven't been with Dame the entire time. I mean, Nurkic has been there, but some of these players are newer, a lot of them. And they might not have as much chemistry with Dame already. And the trade request even adds more onto that and just makes the whole situation even worse. So The Blazers, please just trade Dame. Please, man. Please. Somewhere. I don't care where you trade him. Trade into the Magic for all I care. Don't trade to the Magic. Point being, trade Dame. Because don't leave him here and have him start in there at the beginning of the season when Scoot is coming off the bench for Dame. And it's Dame's a great player, and of course, but with the team that you have right now, you're going into a more tanking direction, because you're not exactly tanking. You still have good players in the team, but you're not trying to win any championships. These are years where you develop your young core with Scoot Henderson. So please, Portland, trade Dame, please. Because if Dame is still on the team by October, whenever the season starts, October 24th, I don't know what to tell you, man. Just trade him. Just trade him. Let him go. Set him free. But yeah, that's all I had to talk about for today. The Bulls, the Raptors, and the Blazers. 3 teams that I wish would do something. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Comment down below any tips, tricks, or topics you have for me to talk about on this channel. That'll be for me today. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.